Welcome to another segment of Lady Mogul Talk, and today you are in for a special treat. We have a phenomenal guest in store, and I'm just going to first get into her bio so you can see just how phenomenal she is. Born with the gift of speech, wrapped up in a heart of love, since the age of 2 years old, Canisha Cierra Turner is the true definition of extraordinary. She is a marketing and sales powerhouse by day and a business owner and prolific speaker by night. She is also the owner and CEO of Executive Ring, a pageantry, leadership, development, and talent management company based in North Carolina. And if you know anything about my background, you know I love pageants and I've been in a few, so I can't wait to talk about that. She has trained local, state, national, and international winners from 0 to 30 plus years old in a reputable portfolio of pageant systems. And in 2011, Canisha Cierra's national and international service work was nationally recognized by superstar Janet Jackson for the 20 Under 20 award. So before I get too deep, because we're going to definitely dive into this conversation, let us bring Canisha Cierra up. So excited to have her on. What a bio. I mean, I did not even get through half of it, and it's just already so accomplished. So please, let's start there. Having accomplished so much, you wear multiple hats. How do you do it all?
Oh, Jesus. It's nobody but him. I'll tell you, he gives me the strength and the stamina to be able to do what I do. But it's definitely not easy, but it's worth it because I truly love it. You know, I live and die by my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not real. So that's how I'm able to effectively balance everything by making sure, that priorities are in line, and that I have everything all the invitations that I've gotten for the week, whether it's speaking, whether it's sessions with Executive Reign, work, all of those things are working in tandem and they're on my calendar. So that's how I'm able to do everything that I do and still get some type of sleep at night by effectively balancing.
So you do sleep? No, I'm just kidding.
I do. I do, surprisingly, right? But no, I do. But it's amazing. I love what I do. It's truly an honor, so I dare not complain, So all is well. God has given me the strength to do all that I do.
It's so amazing. And shout out to our calendars, because I understand exactly what you mean. If it's not on the calendar, it's I don't know what we're talking about here. Or if it's not written down for like a to-do task, it's over my head. So
absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely.
Now I want to talk about your experience in the pageant world. I think it's so amazing. I remember my first pageant was elementary school.
Okay.
So I've been obsessed ever since. Always looking at Miss USA and all the other wonderful pageants. So what made you want to get involved in the pageant world?
So my mom was the one who started me in this world of pageantry. I was 2 years old. So this is before school age. So I was 2. And then I competed all the way up into the age of 17. So for about 15 years straight, I competed and I loved it. I credit my public speaking, my ability to interview, interact with people. All of that was from pageantry. All of the tools that I learned through competing, I was able to apply in my career and, different aspects and phases of my life.
Definitely. And I can totally relate, especially the ability to think on our feet with those Q&A stage questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think I realized it until maybe a few years ago. I was like, oh, you know what? I knew at the time the leadership part of it, but I just never registered, oh, yes, this is why I'm able to do this now.
So it comes in handy. You can do it effortlessly. And this is what I tell all the parents of the kids that I coach. Like, this is truly an investment. You may not see it now, but I promise you, as they continue to grow and they start interviewing for those, colleges, the scholarship committees, their careers, future endeavors, all of these things that you're doing now, all of the training and preparation, it's going to help them in the future. I'm blessed to say that I obtained 2 full ride scholarships, one for my undergraduate undergraduate degree, one for my graduate degree. So I didn't have to pay for school. And
Wow.
again, the bare bones of that is because of my love and my work that I did in pageantry. And so I was able to go and woo those scholarship committees, and I didn't have to pay. So
That's amazing. Now, I don't know where you were when I needed you for a pageant coach. I just now feel a little slighted, but it's okay. We'll get over that. But I want to transition just a little bit to your award in 2011, recognized by Janet Jackson. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm in the
Yeah.
presence of a superstar." You talking to me, she's
Oh,
talking about you. So, what was that like to receive that award?
let me just say this. Shout out to Miss Jackson. She's amazing. She is so sweet, a heart of gold. The fact that she even wanted to do that, when she toured in 2011, that was her Janet Jackson #1's tour. And she toured 20 cities in the US of A. And for those 20 cities, each of those cities, she wanted to recognize 20 young people under the age of 20 who were doing extraordinary things in their community. And so my brother was the one who recommended me for this. He submitted me for the honor, and out of thousands upon thousands, I was one of the 20 chosen for Atlantic City, New Jersey. And so it was amazing. She talked to us, she embraced us, she thanked us for our work, and she paid, homage to us during the show, where we had front row seats at the show. And then after the show, of course, we went back and we met her and met her team, and we were honored by her. And it was an amazing experience. I mean, it was Janet Jackson. It was one of the biggest superstars in the world, and for her to love service so much and to love young people and want to encourage young people so much that she wanted to make that a part of her tour was just phenomenal. So I will
Mhm.
always be a lifelong fan of her. I even made her a book. So I hope she still has it. I'd love to meet her again and say, hey, you remember 10, 15 years ago when I gave you that book? Do you still have it? But yeah, I made a book of all of my service. So all of the service work that my brother submitted, to, of
Mhm.
course, make me eligible for the award. I put it all together in a tangible book for her with pictures and dates and timelines and a letter thanking her in the front of the book. And I presented that book to her when we met her after the show and we were given our awards.
Wow. That is, I mean, I don't even know another word for amazing because it really encompasses this moment. So I'm living vicariously through you, I hope you know.
It was beautiful, Avery. It was. It's definitely one of the highlights of my life. I'll say that for sure.
Yes. And speaking of highlights, you have gone on to accomplish so many other amazing things and also achieved awards. Is there a fondest project or another something that was really the highlight of your career or life so far?
Absolutely. Ghana, West Africa. I traveled there in 2012. And it was just, oh my goodness, when you talk about going home, the feeling you get when you're home and it's like a peace that comes over you. I felt that peace when I laid foot on the grounds of we flew into Accra. So as soon as we got to Accra and I sat down on those grounds, I really felt like I was home. I was there for about 12 days, and we visited, of course, the city part in Accra, where we visited kings and queens and dined with the upper echelon of the Ghanaian culture. But then we also visited the not so affluent parts, and we visited
Mhm.
the village schools, and going to the village schools and donating books, and interacting with those children. I have some beautiful pictures that I took that I will forever cherish with some of the children in the villages, and they just came up to me and they embraced me and they thanked me. Gratitude there is just, it's beyond this world, because a lot of those children in those village schools, they don't have running water, they don't have
Mhm.
adequate access to, books and paper and pens. And so to be able to bless them with those things and to see the gratitude on their faces and in their hearts was just amazing. So that's definitely something that I will carry with me throughout life. It was one of the best experiences ever.
It sounds like it. And again, living vicariously through you. Now, earlier you mentioned about your schooling, and we didn't mention the name, but North Carolina A&T. And as a fellow HBCU alum, I always welcome HBCU fam to the
Absolutely.
platform. So I am excited to hear more about your journey when you attended an HBCU and then some of those experiences that you had?
Absolutely. So I am a proud alumna of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University at Geek Pride. And oh my goodness, the best 4 years. You know, when you're in high school and people say you're about to enter the best 4 years of your life, and you go, oh, okay. But I promise you, they did not tell a lie, because those were truly the best 4 years of my life. I met my best friends on that campus. I was able to meet amazing mentors while I was there. So, you know, we talk about Janet Jackson and how amazing she is. But, you know, I also met and formed relationships with, you know, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the Honorable Andrew Young, you know, Jeff Johnson, Omarosa, you know, so all of these people who have voices within our generation, I was able to meet and connect with while I was on the campus of
Mhm.
North Carolina A&T. And it was my HBCU that afforded me those opportunities, that put me at those tables and in those seats. And so I'm so blessed for A&T. You know, that's why anything I can do for a current student who's there, you know, if they need me for a recommendation or to look over something, you know, I make sure, because I had people who did those same things for me while I was there, who wrote my college recommendations. I'm sorry, my master's recommendations. My chancellor actually was one of my recommenders for my master's program,
Wow.
and my dean of students, Dr. Rashid. So, you know, all those things. So however I can in turn help, you know, a current Aggie or future Aggie, that's my aim, because A&T gave so much to me. And so I am forever indebted to that institution.
Yes, I can say the same about mine as well. And one of the ways that you gave back is through a book collaboration with the HBCU Experience Movement. So tell us
Mhm.
what that process was like. I'm sure you relived so many memories, and what can we expect from your chapter?
Absolutely. So I did. Writing it was such a beautiful process, I'll say, because like you said, you did get to relive some of those experiences. And I did. Some of them I hadn't thought about in years, you know, and I'm like, oh, I gotta put this in here. Oh, I remember this. Oh, you know. And so just I laughed throughout the chapter as I was writing it. I shed some tears as I was writing it, because again, all those beautiful memories just coming back to the forefront and putting them together in a chapter. I will say that was probably the hardest thing, because it's 4 years that you are smushing together into one chapter.
Mhm.
And I'm like, God, okay, how do I adequately display the magnitude of what this institution gave to me in a chapter? And, you
Right.
know, we went through revisions and things. So, you know, I started off just writing. I just did a brain dump, just everything that I could think of, just wrote. And then, of course, you know, just putting things together and figuring out, okay, what can be in a sequel, you know, because some
Mhm.
things are meant for the sequel. You know, and what's the high level that's really going to inspire and encourage those who are reading. So it was such a beautiful process, and I enjoyed it. It was very cathartic for me, and I currently have the book now, so just even flipping through the pages and reading again what I wrote months ago was just so beautiful. So I've enjoyed it for sure.
And it's available for purchase on Amazon and I think the HBCU Experience Movement website, correct?
That is correct. And then also you can purchase them independently from the authors, because we are
Oh,
signing books as well. So I have several people who have purchased it directly from me, so that I can give them, you know, a personalized message in their book and ship it to them.
oh, how nice. And I didn't know that tidbit before because we've collaborated so many times, but I didn't know that the authors also sell it. So please support
Yes.
Canisha Cierra in her book collaboration about her HBCU experience. I think it's so wonderful. And I always find that we have kindred experiences no matter what HBCU we attend.
Absolutely. Anybody and everybody who's reading this will get something out of it, whether you attended my HBCU or an HBCU. You know, the
Mhm.
good thing about HBCUs are we all have that rich culture. We all have that family atmosphere that we've experienced. So you'll read something and you'll go, oh, yeah, I had a Miss Brenda, or I had a Jasmine McInnes. You know, you may not know that particular person, but you may have had that type of person that mentored you at your individual institution. And so everybody can get something something out of this. And quite frankly, Avery, even if you didn't attend an HBCU,
Mm-hmm.
to understand the HBCU culture,
Mm-hmm.
this is a good book to read to get a closer, an in-depth look at these institutions that people just speak so highly about and praise and, guard with our lives. Because I know some people who did not attend an HBCU, they go, well, why are you all so, because we rep our HBCU so passionately. When we say
Yeah.
Aggie Pride, we mean that thing. And so when you read this book, you'll understand exactly why that pride is there. So for someone who didn't attend an HBCU, I think it's just as beneficial for you to
Mm-hmm.
read it, as opposed to if you did.
That's so true. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences with that, because I know it's going to help so many individuals and maybe people who are looking at why should I attend. I'm sure that
Absolutely.
that will make a difference in their lives as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, earlier we talked about or really alluded to your sales and marketing background. Now, what
Yes.
are 2 tips that you think that every business owner should know when it comes to this space?
Well, definitely know your audience. That's first and
Mhm.
foremost. Okay. Who are you targeting? And once you figure that out, then you must target accordingly. We have to make sure we know our target audience and we know how to target our target audience. What are their behaviors? Where are they spending the majority of their time? Is it social media? If it is social media, then which platform on social media? Is it Facebook, which tends to skew a little older? Is it Instagram or TikTok that typically skews a little younger? So those are things that we have to have an understanding of and then market and advertise accordingly.
Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree. I have nothing to add there. I hope they took notes on that part. Now, I always like to know what is next in the lives of our guests. So what can we expect in the next chapter of your journey?
You can definitely expect more books. I'm super excited about that. You can expect a lot of growth with Executive Reign.
Mm-hmm.
And we this year made our 5th year. So, I've had a lot of progress in 5 years. And so I'm just so excited for all that's to come. We've had a great 5 years, but I tell you, the next 5 years are going to be even better. So just a lot of amazing things. I don't like to get into specifics because, of course, I don't like to announce the move until it's made. But just
Mm-hmm.
know that what's coming, there's nothing in comparison to what's been. So it's only going to get better and better and better.
As it should. Now, how can we keep up with you? So when it is time to announce that move, what should our audience follow, whether it's your website, your Instagram, or other social media platforms?
Absolutely. So when we talk about target audience, the majority of my target audience dominates Facebook. So I'm very active on Facebook. You can follow my business page, Executive Reign, and Reign is REIGN. Or you can, of course, follow my personal page, Canisha Cierra Turner, and you see my name written out on the screen. So it's just that on Facebook. Also, the website, CanishaCierraTurner.com, ExecutiveReign.com. So those are places. And if you want to email me, by all means, info@executivereign.com.
Well,
So there are multiple ways.
and please be sure to follow her, contact her if you want to become better at pageants, which I wish I would have done, but I didn't know about it at that time. It's okay. So please follow Canisha Cierra on all of her platforms. And is there any last advice that you would like to share with our audience before we end today's segment?
Just go for it, guys. We are in Q4 and honestly, the latter part of Q4 of the year. So we have less than a month and a half to go. And whatever it is that your heart desires, just go for it. Go for whatever that dream is, whatever that thing is that you've put on the back burner and you say, okay, I'll eventually get to it. Now is the time because time is a thief. I just turned 30 years old 2 weeks ago, or maybe a little over 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, wow, I blinked and I'm in a new decade. And so you truly, whatever it is that God has laid on your heart, whatever that purpose is, go for it. Don't wait because you never know. Tomorrow isn't promised. Honestly, tonight isn't promised.
Mm-hmm.
With so much that has gone on with the pandemic and losing loved ones and you name it, you go on social media, you see the rest in peace statuses, you see it all. So, people are leaving. So we don't have time to sit around on borrowed time. Now is the time to act on whatever that purpose is that God has laid upon you. And only you and him know that. So figure it out, go for it. And remember that it's not about you. Somebody is waiting to come encounter with you so that they can get to their next step. So you sitting on your blessing can be stifling someone else's progress because they've got to get to you in order to ascend. So stop sitting on it. Go. It's go time. Tomorrow's not promised.
Whew. Very wise advice and a perfect way to end Lady Mogul Talk. Thank you so much, Canisha Cierra, for joining us on this
My
segment.
pleasure.
And I cannot wait to keep up with your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Avery, and blessings to you and your platform. This is amazing. So I wish you continual blessings and success.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone tuning in for this segment of Lady Mogul Talk. We will be back next week for another segment. Bye, everyone.
Bye.